I'm being quite intentional to not over plan these videos and stuff with the CE04 because this is really my first real life experience living with an electric motorcycle, and I think it's really important to just come in with a complete open mind, just go about your day, go about your life as you normally would, and see what's different, what's better, what's worse compared to using conventional transport. I've always been reasonably open-minded to new technologies and stuff like that, but I think the thing that really shifted the way I thought about alternatively powered vehicles is when someone told me, or I read, that when the first cars came out, mass-produced ones, people who rode horses and got around in horse and carts, and people whose whole lives and businesses and livelihoods were based around the horse, there was outcry. They hated the idea of a petrol-powered car. They thought it was impure. They thought, you know, horses are alive, they're real things. Cars are just a machine. You know, we're losing touch with who we are as humans by driving those fancy new machines. And then obviously, naturally, people started to realize that cars actually make a whole lot of sense. And then a whole culture was born out of cars and motorcycles that's lasted, you know, 70 years and is as strong as ever. And I think if we resist too much against alternatively powered vehicles and stuff, we're destined to just repeat history. In 20 years, when everything's electric and they've figured it out and they're way faster than petrol bikes, and they're you know, you could charge them up in 5 minutes, which is what's going to happen, get real. Those of us who rally against electric bikes and electric cars, saying they're not pure and not as exciting and real as petrol. I'm not explaining myself very well here, but I feel like we're just going to look like those same idiots that didn't want cars. So what do you think about that? Am I onto something there? Because as soon as I heard that analogy, it really changed the way I think about electric vehicles. Having said that, I'm not overly thrilled about them. I would love to just make it go away, because I, like you, I love petrol bikes. I love the sound, I love the feeling, and I've never ridden an electric vehicle or driven an electric vehicle that comes close to providing the thrills that a petrol bike does. The point I'm trying to make is we should be open to new things, and I'm going to try and be as open as possible in living electric with the BMW CE04. Gotta say, I'm impressed with the torque response on this thing. I guess that's one of the pros of electric vehicles, as someone in the industry said to me, which they made a really good point, I thought. While, you know, you do lose some things going electric from petrol, like, you know, the sound and the vibration and the feedback, there are things that you gain, and one of those things is absolutely the instant torque. And they're not kidding, it's quite an experience. This is a scooter, and it probably outdrag sports bikes off the line for a moment. I'll show you what I mean. still weird having no noise. It's gonna take a long time to get used to that, for us all to get used to it. As is the regenerative braking. It's kind of strange when you haven't experienced it before. As soon as you let off the throttle, the bike's essentially braking because it harnesses that power, harnesses the friction, the heat generated to charge the battery. But it means that your actual brakes are sort of far less important than they are on a regular motorcycle or scooter. I've got it in dynamic mode of 4 modes: eco, rain, road and dynamic. And basically what's the difference there is the throttle response, how much you have to turn the throttle to get full power. In dynamic mode you've got, oops, something's going on over there, crime scene. Yeah, as soon as you twist the throttle you get all the power, and as a result you're going to use your battery much faster. So I really haven't spent much time on electric bikes. I tested a few electric cars back when I worked in car journalism, but I'm not very knowledgeable and practiced in using them, because you know, you do have to really be conscious of how much charge you've got. So it says here, in this mode at least, and the way I've been riding, I've got 106 kilometers in the dynamic mode. I've got the seat heating on, I've got the grip heating on, all things I imagine you have to take into account. I only have to go about 40 k's until I get home, so that's not going to be a problem. But you know, if I had to go 80 k's or something, I guess I would definitely have it in a more conservative mode, just to not run the risk of running out of charge. But I don't think people are as aware as they should be of how much charging has advanced and how much battery technology has improved. I think people still think that it takes all night to charge up an electric vehicle. You know, this thing has a charger in the side compartment, you plug it into the wall and you're charged up in a couple of hours. And if you go to a fast charger, as you'll see, you know, at like big service stations and in car parks, they have actual electric fast chargers. And you know, I only just picked this thing up, so I don't know exactly how long it takes to charge on a fast charger, but you know, it's usually like half an hour to an hour nowadays. So yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks to wait half an hour to an hour to charge your bike compared to filling it up with fuel, but it's not that bad. If you plan and you get used to dealing with electric vehicles, I think it's not really that much of an issue waiting half an hour in a worst case scenario. Who's tooting at me? Crazy people. Who is doing that? It's quite a lot bigger and heavier than I expected in looking at the pictures, but it feels really solid. The suspension feels quite good. It's comfortable. I love this 10-inch screen. This isn't the first bike to use that screen. I think the R1250 RT Sports Tourer was the first to get this new BMW screen, but it's great, huge thing. And it's manages to pack so much technology in without being complicated to the eye. Where I really have to give BMW credit is in the styling of this thing. I think they were so smart in making it look futuristic. It looks like something out of Blade Runner. It looks science fiction. I think that's really smart. because I feel like people get frustrated when, and this don't necessarily agree with this stance, but I think some people get frustrated when you have electric vehicles that just try and look exactly like a petrol motorcycle, and they sort of feel conned in a weird way, like it's not the real deal. So I think it's smarter to make it look like something new and different. Be brave in the styling, and I think people are more willing to adopt something like that. It feels fresh. So we're heading on to the freeway, 100 km/h speed limit. See how we do, see how it feels sitting at a freeway speeds. Still plenty of power from 60 to 100 there. It pulled. Feels like there's still heaps of grunt. Interesting. It's really smooth on the freeway. It's great. It doesn't feel like a compact scooter at all. It doesn't even really feel like a maxi scooter. It feels like something completely different. I don't quite have the words for it yet. Nice big floorboards, and my legs are really warm and stuff because they got a huge amount of wind protection on your legs, but not so much wind protection at the front. I think there's just a non-adjustable little bit of plexi there. So I've noticed that the battery, you go through the battery way faster sitting on the freeway. When I was just knocking about at the traffic lights before, it said I had 110 kilometers of range, and I've done about 5-10 kilometers now, most of which on the freeway, and it says I've only got 78 kilometers of range remaining. So that's definitely something to take into account. Just because you've got plenty of range when you're riding around urban streets does not mean that you can use that range at speed on the freeway. Definitely going to have to get better at understanding what to expect from the battery. One sort of negative I'm finding riding an electric vehicle is lane splitting, because the traffic can't hear you coming through. So, you know, like, look at this. Not a great example, but a car could change lanes on you without knowing you're there. I think probably a lot more likely than if you're on a loud petrol engine, because they're more likely to hear you coming, aren't they? Fast off the line though, that's for sure. Definitely the most entertaining scooter I've ridden in a long time, and that includes things like the Aprilia SR GT and the Kymco DTX 360, which I did enjoy a lot. I thought they were awesome, but having the torque of this electric powertrain gives it sort of an extra edge. It's a fun thing to be on around town. I'm just poking around Toorak, looking at all the huge mansions, trying to find a spot to take some photos, and I noticed, look at this incredible turning circle. I'll try and get full lock on it. That's awesome. So maneuverable when you consider my trials lessons are coming into good use there. So maneuverable when you consider how long it is. Anyway, I've gotten stuck, but we have a reverse function, so let's try that. Oh, quite powerful. I just saw this little, I'm in bloody rich people world. You should see the houses around here. It's insane, some of the places. But I just found this little dirt track. Traction control kicking in there. Oh, a jump. Oh, I don't know how much clearance I got it. don't want to rip off a plastic, you know. Might not show, but this is actually quite a really bumpy dirt track, and it's soaking it up really nicely. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm not going through that. Wonder what's over here. Might not fit. Oh. What a sweet little hidden track. Where does it go? I have no idea. Look, you could never want to do this on a loud bike, you know. You'd piss people off, they'd probably call the cops on you, but with an electric bike, I'm not bothering anyone. But I am stuck. Uh-oh. I may have cocked up. Oh no, I'm gonna have to do the bloody Austin Powers thing. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? It doesn't fit. Well, I guess I could go the whole way backwards. What an idiot. Fuck's sake. Oh man, free at last. What an idiotic boob I am. There's some hipsters looking at my scooter. God, this is a bit judgmental, but any bloke that wears those leather shoes without any socks and skinny jeans, man, I can't cop it. And by the way, how much isn't this a sign of the times? I got on my electric bike to pick up a vape. Didn't even think about that till just now, the symbolism of it, but yeah. Welcome to the future.